You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Let's have a look at Afghanistan and talk about their performance in this World Cup for 2023 in India. Afghanistan, what a World Cup for Afghanistan. I think they've had their best World Cup by far, and most people would agree with that. Afghanistan played some good cricket in this tournament. That reflected in the way they played, that reflected in the results during this tournament. And they finished in 6th place in the group stage, and that was their result in this World Cup for 2023. In the group stage, they won 4 games and lost 5. Leading run scorer was Ibrahim Zadran with 376 runs. Leading wicket taker was Rashid Khan with 11 wickets. And the results in the tournament in the group stage, they lost to Bangladesh by 6 wickets. They lost to India by 8 wickets. That wonderful win over England, no one expected that. They won by 69 runs. They lost to New Zealand by 149 runs. They won against Pakistan by 8 wickets. They won against Sri Lanka by 7 wickets. They won against the Netherlands by 7 wickets as well. And Afghanistan were building nicely. They had a chance to qualify for the semi-finals. But unfortunately, that opportunity was pretty much gone in the game against Australia. Glenn Maxwell did what he did, and they lost that game by 3 wickets, Afghanistan. And then the final game of the group stage for them was against South Africa. They lost by 5 wickets. So for Afghanistan, they should be proud of their achievements in this World Cup. I think they've really come of age as a cricket team. I think many people would say coming into this World Cup, many people thought Afghanistan weren't going to win a game of cricket at all. Many people thought, they'd be competitive. They may struggle, and they probably have the same result as they did in 2019. In 2019, out of the 9 games they played in that World Cup, they lost all 9 of them. But 4 years later, to come to India in 2023, 4 years later, to win 4 games and lost 5, I think that's a pretty good result. And I think the influences has really come from Jonathan Trott, really. Jonathan Trott, former England player, international, very, very methodical in his way. In terms of playing the game, he was like that as well, very structured. He's really instilled all the advice and knowledge and tips that he's gained along the way to this Afghanistan team. Under his coaching, under his leadership, he's built a team that has really improved dramatically. We saw that in this World Cup. Highlights for Afghanistan in this World Cup. Well, the win against England, what a win that was. A bit of a shock to everyone. No one expected that. But obviously, given how poorly England were playing, I think it wasn't a surprise in the end, really. But it was on that occasion. To win by 69 runs over England was a fantastic achievement by this Afghanistan team. That was an amazing win. And then to win 3 games in a row against Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and the Netherlands, that was unbelievable, just to see them go on that winning streak. And then, unfortunately, it was ended by Australia and what Glenn Maxwell did, obviously. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But, for Afghanistan, they've got a lot of things to be proud of in this World Cup. What really impressed me the most about Afghanistan was their batting. Their batting was pretty good. During the games against, during the games against the Netherlands, the game against Pakistan in particular, their run chasing was methodical. It was clinical. They played accordingly to the situations. And that game against Pakistan was probably their best game in terms of chasing a total. They were chasing, 282, and they did it 8 down to win that game. 2 for 286 was very clinical. They won with an over to spare. So their run chasing, even the game against Sri Lanka, their run chasing was good as well. Even against the Netherlands, it was good as well. They were chasing a low target of 179, but in the end, they got the job done. So impressed me the most about Afghanistan in this World Cup is their ability with the bat to chase down totals and targets, and they did it quite comfortably. I think Afghanistan back in the past, with Afghanistan's batting, I think many people would say Afghanistan will probably struggle, they'll probably have a batting collapse, they'll probably get bowled out for a low score. But in this World Cup, we didn't see that from Afghanistan. We didn't see that. Yes, when they were playing against the top-ranked teams like a South Africa and in India, for example, they did struggle a bit with the bat. But in the other games that they played, their batting was pretty good. It was pretty solid. They worked hard on their batting, and we didn't see the many batting collapses as we would have seen from Afghanistan in the past, which is a fantastic sign that they're learning, developing, getting better in that aspect of the game. Their bowling was pretty good at times as well, obviously led by Rashid Khan, obviously the leader in the bowling attack, but also their quicks as well. The likes of Naveen Al-Haq, Faruqi were pretty good, and they took wickets, so they really stood up in the crunch moments. So, Afghanistan, their cricket is starting to come together. They're batting them and bowling. Their fielding needs a little bit of work, obviously, and we saw that at times in this World Cup from Afghanistan. Their fielding was a little bit sloppy, especially in the game against Australia, where they lost. Obviously, Glenn Maxwell did what he did. Obviously, Mujeeb dropping the catch of Glenn Maxwell was an indication that they probably need to work on that aspect of their game a bit more, the fielding. But I think for Afghanistan, the batting and bowling side are coming along together. But it's just the fielding that needs work, as I mentioned, with the Mujeeb drop with Glenn Maxwell in that game. Some outstanding achievements with bat and ball from Afghanistan. Look at Ibrahim Sadran. In that game against Australia, he scored the first ever Cricket World Cup century for Afghanistan in a World Cup. And I think that was a very historical moment for him and also for Afghanistan. And to do it against Australia, one of the best teams of the world, and obviously went on to win the tournament, of course, was a fantastic achievement. So Ibrahim will definitely remember that for a long time. For Afghanistan, they had an opportunity to qualify for the semi-finals. The game against Australia, they had that game in the palm of their hands. They had Australia 7 down for 97. And then enters Glenn Maxwell, who comes in, smashes 201 not out, and wins Australia the game from nowhere. And Afghanistan, they did so many things right in that game against Australia. I think if Afghanistan look back on this World Cup, they would say, you know what, the game against Australia is where we had our opportunity and we weren't able to grasp it. They dropped, as I said before, obviously Glenn Maxwell was dropped by Mujeeb. That was a costly drop catch. The fielding and the tactics were wrong by Shahidi, the captain. They could have done better, but it's a high-pressure situation. It's easier said than done in hindsight. But, the important thing is that they'll definitely learn from that experience and how can we do better next time. So if they look back on this World Cup, they say, yes, we had a great World Cup. We won 4 games, but the game against Australia was the one that got away. And all because of Glenn Maxwell and down to some fielding misfields and drop catches, but also poor tactics cost us that game. So apart from that, and to wrap up about Afghanistan, overall, I think they'll be proud of their efforts. And they should be, because they played some good cricket. And I think many of the teams around the world will take Afghanistan. They won't take them lightly. They will know that we're in a contest against Afghanistan and we have to play our best cricket. And we saw that in this World Cup. And I think this World Cup has definitely shown everyone that Afghanistan cricket has really improved over the years since they've entered the international game. And it's really improved. And it's improved dramatically under the coaching of Jonathan Trott in particular. So Afghanistan, I think they'll be very proud of their efforts. And they should be, because they've achieved a lot of great things in this World Cup. Thanks to everyone who tuned in to our ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 coverage over these last few weeks. It's been great fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we have bringing it to you. If you're watching or listening to this episode of the podcast on our YouTube channel, let us know in the comments your thoughts on Afghanistan's ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 campaign. We would love to hear what you have to say.